Hi everybody, welcome to Live Blogger. In this tutorial series, we have been creating this nav menu using HTML, CSS and JavaScript. And this is our progress as of now. We have created the styling for this menu content and the menu title. Now in this video, we will add the functionality. So when we hover over this, we need to have the animation and we need to change the height of this background element depending on the height of the content. So we will do all of that in this video using JavaScript. So let's get started. Now this is our source code, and for displaying the content, we are adding this class of active. So let's go ahead and remove this. So by default, we don't have any content displayed over here. And let's also hide this background element. So for that, we have created this division and we have given it a class of menu bg. So we are using this to add this background element. So let's go back and let's go to the style or CSS file, and here for the menu bg, I just set the height to 0. And now we can see that the background element is also not being displayed. Right, now let's go ahead and add and remove the active class using JavaScript. So when you hover over this, we need to add the active class. So for that, let's go ahead and go to the main.js file, and we need to reference some of the elements from the HTML. So we need to reference the menu container divisions. So here we can see we have this division with the class of menu container. So we need to add the active class to this. So we need to reference all these menu container divisions. And then we need to reference all the content. So here we can see we have the division with the class of content, and in that we have the content of the menu. So we need to reference all of these divisions as well. And then the last thing we need to reference is the menu bg. So we need to change the height of this menu bg depending on the content. So let's go to the main.js file and let's type const, and let's type menu bg equals document.querySelector, and we have a nav element. And in that we have this division with the class of menu bg. So let's type dot menu bg, and then let's reference all the menu container divisions. So let's type const menu container, and since we have many elements, I'll just call it all equals document.querySelector, and here also we need to type all, and here let's type menu items. So if you go back to the HTML file, here we can see that we have this division with the class of menu items, and in that we have the menu container. So let's type dot menu container. So this will store all the menu container divisions inside this menu container all constant. Right now we need to reference the menu content. So let's type const menu content all equals document.querySelector all, and here let's type menu items content. So we have this content division over here. Right now let's go ahead and add event listeners to all the menu container divisions. So let's type menu container all dot for each. So we'll use a for each loop for that. Now for each of the single item, I'll just call it item. You can name this anything you want. And we'll also get the index. So I'll just add it inside parentheses. And here let's type index. So the first argument is basically the single menu container, and the second argument is the index. Right now let's create this arrow function over here. Right now let's add event listeners to this item. So let's type item dot add event listener, and we will listen for the mouse over event. And here let's create an arrow function. Right now here what we need to do is we need to add the active class to the correct content division. So if you hover over this element, then we need to add the active class to the content of this menu title. And if you hover over this menu element, we need to add the active class to the content of this menu. So for that we will use this index. So let's type menu content all, and here for the index I'll just type index, and here let's type dot class list dot add active, Right now, let's go back and let's hover over this, and we can see that the content is being displayed. Now if we hover over the next element, we have that content also displayed. So we need to remove the active class from the previous element once we hover over the other menu title. So for that, let's go ahead and remove all the active classes. So let's tap menu content all, and let's use a for each loop for that. And here for each of the content, I'll just call it content. And here let's go ahead and create an arrow function, and let's type content.classlist.remove active. And now let's go back, and now if you hover over this, we have this content displayed. Now if you hover over the next element, we have the other content displayed. So it is working all right. And now if you hover over this, and if we go outside this menu title, we can see that the content doesn't disappear. So let's fix that. So when we move our mouse pointer outside the menu, this content should disappear. So for that, let's add another event listener. So I'll just tap item dot add event listener, and let's add mouse out. And here I'll just go ahead and remove all the active classes. So I'll just copy this code and I'll just paste it over here. And now if we go outside this menu, we can see that the content disappears. So it is working all right. Now we also need to add a smooth transition between these elements when they are displayed. So for that, let's go back to our style.css file, and let's go to the content. And here for the content, let's add a transition. So I'll just tap transition of all 200 milliseconds is. Right now, let's go back. And now we can see that we have the smooth transition. Right now, let's display the menu BG. So let's go back to the main.js file. And now here we need to set the height and the width of the menu BG to the height and the width of the menu content. So let's tap menu BG dot style dot width, and let's set it to menu content. And we need to select the index. So I'll just tap index over here, and let's tap dot. Now to get the width, we have to type offset width plus pixels. So now it will add the width and pixels to this menu BG width. So let's do the same for the height. So I'll just tap menu BG dot style dot height equals menu content all index offset height plus pixels. And now here for mouse out, we need to reset the height and the width. So here let's type menu BG dot style dot height, and let's set it to 0. And now if you go back to the style.css file, we can see that for the content we have a min width of 500 pixels. So let's add the same min width over here. So I'll just type menu BG dot style dot min width equals 500 pixels. Right now if you hover over this, we can see that the menu content and also the menu BG is displayed, and it has the correct height and width set, but we don't have the smooth transition working for the menu BG. So let's do that. Let's go back. And now if you go to the style.css file, and if we add the transition over here, so if you go to the menu BG, and here let's tap transition all 200 milliseconds is, and now we can see that the transition is working all right. Now we have one problem over here. When we hover over the content, we can see that the content disappears. So for that, we need to add a z index to the content. So let's go back, and here for the content, let's add a z index, and I'll just set it to a higher value. I'll just type 400, and now let's go back. And now when you hover over this, everything is working all right. And we also have the height of the menu BG being updated correctly. Right, so that's basically how you can create this drop-down nav menu using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Right, so that's basically it for this video. If you have any doubts, you can ask in the comments below. And if you like this video, please click on the like button and subscribe to this channel to get the latest video updates. Thanks a lot for watching. Have a nice day.